This is Positive Profiles, and I'm your host, Rashid Holder. Miss Carlitha Andrews from St. Vincent and the Grenadines. Welcome to Positive Profiles.
Thank you.
Now, Carlitha, I am most intrigued to know from your journey from St. Vincent to Barbados and what has transpired between now and then. So, you trekked from St. Vincent and the Grenadines and you came to Barbados as a 16-year-old. Quite young.
Yeah.
And impressionable. What were your first thoughts when you first came to Barbados?
Well, I migrated from St. Vincent in 1986. And my first thought was seeing a new country. And it was very exciting migrating from St. Vincent because, as a young person, you will, I was always have I would like to explore. I always had an explosive mind. I always thinking differently.
Always curious to know what's happening.
What is happening like on the other side or whatever. So it was a smooth transition. I fit in very well because where I transitioned is St. Andrew, in St. Andrew, lovely St. Andrew, White Hill to be precise. Beautiful scenery and everything. It seems like I'm just like leave my house and step out into the yard, just a home away from home.
So you love the country?
I love it.
You love Barbados and
I love
the parish that you reside in.
Yes, beautiful parish, the best parish in Barbados.
So tell me about, how life was for you coming up in St. Andrew during that time.
Life for me was, as I said, I transitioned from being from St. Vincent to Barbados. It ain't not much of a difference. It's only that you're in a different island, but everything remained the same.
The accent a little different.
The accent a little different, but the foods and stuff that we accustomed to in St. Andrew is the same thing that I accustomed to in St. Vincent.
Yeah.
So it's like, the transition wasn't too much of a drastic difference. So I was able to fit in, like,
No, we are all Caribbean people. But you are some person who likes to advocate for persons or for when you see things wrong within your community. What ignited that, passion for advocacy for you?
Because, from a child, I was always my grandfather's favorite.
You were the favorite?
Yes, I was always my grandfather.
How many siblings do you have?
I have 4 brothers and 4 sisters on my mother's side, and lots of brothers and sisters from my father's side.
So you got a big family?
Yes, I have a huge family. But from my grandmother, when my mother migrated to Barbados, I left. She has left me with my grandparents. So I was always the one to be sitting on my grandfather's lap. I was always the favorite, and then it used to irritate my grandmother, but I enjoyed it. And I always wanted to portray my grandfather. That was always my dream, to be like my grandfather, because to me, he was the most kindest person I ever come across. My grandfather to me was like an angel.
He's what you consider an angel
on earth, yes. So what I did, I used to sit on his lap and I used to imitate what he does, because I watched my grandfather plant the land. He had 11 acres of land, and he would plant it and he would feed the whole district. He would not sell anything.
So he was like a philanthropist then?
Yes.
A philanthropist farmer?
Yes. And what I have seen coming out of that, back in St. Vincent, now my family is highly respected because of what my grandfather did. You see that my grandfather sold.
Yeah.
And I took up that because I said I wanted to be so much like my grandfather that I may not be working the land, but doing it in a different way.
Yeah.
So I was started from young to be doing what I'm doing.
So, Carlitha, your grandfather has had a tremendous impact on you. What are some of the things that you have advocated for and continue to advocate for within your community?
Well, one of the most major things that I advocated for is fairness, because I love people and I love to see people being treated fairly.
Yeah.
We in St. Andrew, White Hill St. Andrew to be precise. It happened throughout other districts, but I advocated for White Hill for my hometown.
Yeah.
For water, we was not having water for years. from the time I enter in 1987, we were having water problems off and on, but it got worse over time. Because we went as far as 6 months before we run not even 1 day for 6 months with the dry tap.
I can't imagine going at least even a week before running water.
Yeah,
so 6 months
it just irritated me. I said, no, we can't not have this. And I made numerous calls to the Barbados Water Authority, and to no avail. All you were here, oh, we're going to try to rectify the problem and da-da-da-da. So I get irritated because you call it all the time, and you know.
You like to see things getting done.
Yeah, but don't tell me that you're going to do it. And then the thing that irritates me most, that will really make me stand up to them, is that when we get in water, our bill would be, like say, suppose we bill is $20 when we get in water. When we ain't getting the water, we bill double. So I cannot figure out that math, they mathing to me.
According to the young people,
right, according to the young people,
they
mathing. So I said, no, this can't work. So I get up and I start fighting, because sometimes there was a gentleman that named Mr. Murray, Mr. Arlington Murray. We worked together on the issue in White Hill. I am the vocal one, but we would sit down and we would send letters to
so there are persons throughout your community that would come to you.
Yes, Mr. Arlington Murray, we work together. Mr. Arlington Murray, we work together for the better of the community.
Yeah.
Because going to the MP office after the road had broken down in 2014, Mr. Murray, we had to travel 45 minutes. It's just a 5-minute drive.
Yeah.
We had to make the 45-minute trek, and he had a car. I didn't have. That was my main transition to get to the MP office on Thursday night, to keep advocating. We didn't give up. So I didn't do this alone.
So advocacy is something that requires, a lot of effort sometimes just to get things done, because one of the things people often speak about is being consistent with your effort.
Yes.
So if you advocating for something to be changed today, by next week if it isn't resolved, you can't say, well, I throw my hands in the air.
Yeah, no, I didn't give up. I'm not a person that give up so easily.
Right. So you have been recognized for your advocacy, even so much as being a Pride of Barbados recipient.
Yeah.
How does that feel for you?
It feels to me that my effort has not fallen on deaf ears, and the right person recognized what I'm doing.
Yeah.
But me receiving the this Pride, I'm grateful for the award, but it doesn't change who I am.
Yeah.
Because I know some people, when they receive accolades and stuff, it has made them think, differently.
Yeah.
But for me, I'm still Carlitha Andrews, the same Carlitha Andrews. I'm still the same person that's gonna help anybody that I can help.
Why is that important for you?
It's important for me because I love to see people happy, and I love to see people justified. Like, you paying a bill, you're not receiving the service. That is not fair.
Yeah.
And everybody doesn't have that voice to speak out about these things.
Yeah.
So these are things that I normally speak out. And some people often say, oh, you're doing this and you ain't getting paid. Getting paid is not as important to me as seeing people happy. Because you will find
Say that again.
Getting paid is not as important to me as seeing some person happy.
I like
because see, now you have old folks in the area, they live alone. I just joined a reference. They live alone, they live alone. They can't carry no water running in the tap.
So it's a disadvantage for them.
And some don't have a phone. And even if you have a phone now to get you to these agencies now, it's very hard. But for me, I have direct contact numbers, right, that I can advocate for these people.
And that is obviously important.
Yeah,
like knowing the right people to reach out to or go to.
Yeah, and I must say, there are some very helpful people at the Barbados Water Authority that help me to get where we are in advocate in resolving the issue, the water issue. And they help. They went beyond the call of duty, and I want to say thanks to them. They know who they are.
Yeah.
I'm not going to call their names, but they know who they are. They went beyond the call of duty. Although it was not their department, they made sure. And they often say it's not fair. It's not fair that y'all are not getting water and y'all have to pay this bill. So they went beyond the call of duty to see that things has been done.
Now, Carlitha, as I said, you are a recipient of the Pride of Barbados Award. You've been advocating for various social issues to be resolved over the many years. Why do you continue to do it? That's one. And why is it important to do work like this?
I continue to do it because I enjoy it. As I said before, I enjoy seeing people happy. And I think this is my calling
Yeah.
to do it. And I would always continue to do it because I said before, I love to see people happy and I love to be the voice of the people because not often that you find person advocating for other person because in life, we have a lot of selfish people around.
Yeah.
So some people just take for themselves and once they get what they want, that is it. But that's not who I am.
You're selfless.
I'm selfless. I love to see people being happy and people getting what they deserve in life. That was always my dream, and I'm just following my dreams. It's come to me naturally.
You're living your purpose.
Yes, I'm living my purpose. I think this is my calling, and I try to do the best that I can do. I often tell people when they ask, I said I'm not promising anything, but I can try my best. That's what when I get the phone calls, I said I'm not promising anything, but I try my best. And people often say, I know you're going to get it done, you know how to get it done. That's what they often say.
So belief and faith in what you do is very important.
Very important because I often say I live by faith and not by might. And every time I go to do something, I always put God first. And I find that it materializes. When you put God first in everything just comes natural to you.
Well, Carlitha, I am sure that the people who have been impacted by your selflessness will continue to give God thanks for you being here. You are their angel on earth.
Thank you.
So thank you so much for joining us here on Positive Profiles and continue to do the tremendous work that you've been doing as an advocate throughout the country, throughout the community, wherever you think your purpose is best served.
Thank you.
Work selflessly for the betterment of others. That is Carlitha Andrews' motto. This has been Positive Profiles, and I'm your host, Rashid Holder.